Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I wish at this point to thank God and also continue to thank the people of Beaufort North for their support, and also thanks to my colleagues. Allow me, Madam Speaker, a very short time, some latitude to express the sadness that we continue to feel for the people of Soufrière and also the people who use the Soufrière Hospital, Madam Speaker. It is a very important and fundamental. It's a time when all of us, our hearts must go out to the patients, the staff, and the residents of Soufrière. We continue to encourage all St. Lucians, Madam Speaker, to pull together and to continue to encourage the government to do the best that it can at this time with resources to ensure that the people of Soufrière get back their facility as soon as is practicable. It's very important, Madam Speaker, especially with what is happening with the St. Jude Hospital and others. I would have thought that the Prime Minister would take the opportunity this morning to speak about the Soufrière fire, but the Soufrière Hospital fire, but I guess Grindberg is more important to him. Madam Speaker, this bill for consideration, the Airport Development Bill of 2017, is for the development of proposed airport facilities. Madam Speaker, am I to assume that my first statements were not heard? I'm just hearing the mic, the system now. I just want to be sure. It has only just come on.
Honourable Member, I'm so informed that your mic, it was recorded. I'm receiving a feedback. I think it became louder, but not that it was not recorded. Okay, please proceed.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The bill for consideration is the Airport Development Bill of 2017. And Madam Speaker, as indicated before by my colleague from Castries South, member for Castries South, this bill speaks to the development of airport facilities. Madam Speaker, we agree that airport development is important for economic growth. And our actions when we were in government indicated that we were very serious about the development of the Hiwanura International Airport. A little later on, Madam Speaker, I will speak to the issue of the 2015 Hiwanura International Act, Airport Development Act, which will be repealed as soon as this bill becomes an act. And it's very interesting, Madam Speaker, that the 2015 Act speaks or refers specifically to the Hiwanura International Airport, but this one speaks to just airport development. And later on, when we go through the clauses, I will explain, Madam Speaker, why I am confused and why I cannot trust what this government presents, because there is always innuendo and hidden meaning. Because in this bill, when we look at some of the clauses, it refers to airport facilities, not airport. So we'll come to that. Madam Speaker, nous toujours dit que Hiwanura airport important, avec nous quoi qui est important pour développer l'airport. Là, nous, en gouvernement, nous travaillons pour développer l'airport là. Avec, c'est pas nous seulement, mais tout le monde d'accord qui a un bagay pour faire. Mais la différence, c'est, est-ce que vous pouvez faire un bagay n'importe manière parce qu'il est fait? And that is our disagreement, Madam Speaker. Let it not be said that our side does not want to develop the Hiwanura International Airport. Because we were well advanced in our process of developing the Hiwanura International Airport. Madam Speaker, Section 3 relates to charges, extra charges, taxes on tickets that will be purchased, and extra charges on tickets to the tune of $94.85 EC more for St. Lucians. Section 3 relates to an increase in the price, an increase in the ticket price as a result of the charges that will be placed because of this act. Section 11, ça veut dire, depuis 1er janvier l'autre l'année, c'est lycéen qui a gagné un ticket qui pour payer plus pour ce ticket. Section 11 relates to payment of a development charge to an authority. Section 12, Madam Speaker, speaks to debt servicing. And since we are talking about debt, it points to the government's intention to use debt financing to develop airports or airport facility projects, of airport improvement projects, plural, in St. Lucia. So, Madam Speaker, Sanadia say, là où li bill la gouvernement mené, il a dit c'est un loan yo kay point. Manière yo écrit bill la, il a mouture nous qui gouvernement kay point un loan pour oui bâti airport Hiwanura en cette lycée. Madam Speaker, Section 13, the Airport Development Fund. The coming into force of this act, the government has indicated that this act, Madam Speaker, will come into force on January 1st, 2018, 25 days from now. So, 25 jours après aujourd'hui, la gagne en loi 9, gouvernement dit qu'il a changé manière nous avons développé airport Hiwanura. La gagne en loi 9 qui a fait moun payer plus en les tickets pour travel. Et ça c'est en 25 jours, 25 days from now. So, Madam Speaker, if I am allowed to follow from where the member for Castries South left, this means that in 25 days, without any declarations on the debt by the Air and Seaports Authority, that passengers will be charged an additional $94.85. 25 days from now. Those going to Barbados, to Trinidad and Tobago, Sakikale, Dominique, Antigua, etc. How then does the government explain, or unless the government intends, Madam Speaker, within 25 days to give to the people of St. Lucia the explanations and different explanations that the Prime Minister so wants for many different things? In 25 days. So is the government saying, Madam Speaker, that this act will come into force before the explanations are given about debt financing and all of that? Ça c'est question moi comme dire. Does it mean that the Air and Seaports Authority is in negotiations? Est-ce que ça veut dire Air and Seaports Authority a zaka ache loan, ou bien est-ce que ça mean gouvernement zani loan? Yo allé parler avec un monde, ou bien pays, ou bien organisation, ou bailler l'argent, ou mettre en dette à leur pays cette ici, pour yo faire airport là. Madam Speaker, it is very important for those questions to be answered. Section 12. Section 12 relates to debt, Madam Speaker. It relates to the development charge for airport projects. It relates to the lockbox account. And I reiterate, Madam Speaker, je veux dire encore, Section 12, un bill qui a parlé about, ça qui a dit, c'est airport projects. Projects. Il n'y a pas dit Iwanoro International Airport. Ça, le gouvernement qui a parlé, aujourd'hui, c'est facilité, différencier. So, je sais si c'est un airport, ou bien deux airports, ou bien trois airports qu'il a fait. Subsection 7, under Section 12, Madam Speaker. The authority to ensure that the revenue is not less than sufficient. Madam Speaker, it is being said, and the Prime Minister can refute it, that this airport will cost approximately 406 million EC dollars. EC dollars. 406 million EC dollars. Is this true? Est-ce vrai que pour vieux bâti Iwanora, gouvernement a prêté 406 millions EC dollars? Est-ce vrai? This means, Madam Speaker, if this is true, this government is asking the Parliament to add to the debt stock of St. Lucia $406 million to redevelop airport projects in St. Lucia. Has the government taken a decision, Madam Speaker, to develop the George F.L. Charles Airport? Is there an airport development section to DSH that will be paid for through this act? And we've all seen the renderings, Madam Speaker. There are no explanations to that. I say, Madam Speaker, that earlier I said that when the Prime Minister comes to this House, or when he makes statements, public statements and commitments about projects in St. Lucia, there is clear evidence, Madam Speaker, that what he says, whether it's in the House or outside of the House, does not match the reality. It doesn't, Madam Speaker. And I believe that this bill, with the proposals in there, will not match the reality, Madam Speaker. And there are several of them. And one of them happened just this morning, Madam Speaker. And I'm relating to the bill, I'm relating to the proposals that are in the bill, and why I don't believe those will match the reality. This is not a government, Madam Speaker, that speaks and acts in the way that it speaks, Madam Speaker. And they do it bold-faced, they are brazen, they are arrogant about the way they do it. And they do it in the faces of people who are affected, Madam Speaker. I'll give you an example. This morning, I'm very pleased that the Council of Persons for Differently Abled People came to the House. Very nice. And we welcomed them, and we did what was necessary as parliamentarians. But that's the kind of hypocrisy that we have, Madam Speaker. Here is a Prime Minister of a country who speaks glowingly about having parties with children, and who speaks to the very people right in their faces, and you have Mr. Avril on television day in, day out complaining about assistance from the government. The School of the Blind Welfare Association. Very, very simple example. Right there in their faces. Madam Speaker, the pronouncements that are in this bill will not match the reality. Because it is the habit of this government, Madam Speaker, to do those things. And there are many other examples. There are many other examples. This morning the Prime Minister asked about those who were there to come and clarify and come and say things, present documents and all of that. Up to now, this government cannot say which is the correct DSH agreement, up to now. When we try to present it in the House, they try to block us, Madam Speaker. When the member for Kaswi South brings a document, they try to block us again. We can't talk. That is the history, Madam Speaker. So the very words of the Prime Minister this morning, that the nation remains in the dark on this matter, and I quote what he spoke of. The nation still remains in the dark on the DSH matter. Weapon, sir. Madam Speaker, I'm concerned about this bill because it speaks to airports. It speaks to airport facilities. And in the renderings that were presented by the Prime Minister, there are clearly facilities around Sandy Beach in the renderings in Viewfort that are extremely close to the airport. So if we are speaking about development of airports, I need to ask whether the pronouncements of the Prime Minister on the DSH deal and what we saw close to the Iwanora airport, how does his airport, his plan to redevelop Iwanora, affect this? Kimanye se drawing on the work to say skyrise building on Sandy Beach. Pwe Iwanora airport. Kimanye sa gouvernement vle fè ka affecte sa. Again, the people of St. Lucia are in the dark. No fenwe ek Premier Ministre ka mande ale eklezisme. No fenwe toujou. Madam Speaker, this is the same Prime Minister, who said later this year, how many days we have left in the year, that phases 1 of his DSH project would have been employing 500 to 800 people, 3 to 4 jobs for each thoroughbred. And today is the 5th of December. So how can we, Madam Speaker, believe that these words are, these things mean anything? Madam Speaker, we await the announcement of confirmation for the financing of Iwanora International Airport. We await. In 25 days, it will be the 1st of January. There is so much more. Claiming we made 680 on gas now, the fishermen are now paying $13,500 a year. The farmers $6,000 more a year in taxes, and the family with a small car paying over $4,000. Calculate it. So here we are, Madam Speaker. The government that complained about debt. The Labour Party is putting this country in debt, and debt will choke us and cripple us. Même gouvernement, Madam Speaker, over 400 million in debt to finance the airport. You can prêter l'argent ça là. It means that if you divide it by the population of St. Lucia, every individual immediately has $2,247 of debt added to the personal debt. 178,015 people in St. Lucia. That is the additional debt. Every child, everyone who was counted in the last census. Like you can talk about debt. When we had an option, Madam Speaker, that would not have placed St. Lucia in that debt. Madam Speaker, could we have developed the airport and avoided the debt? Could we have done so? And while they continue to suck their teeth, bad manners as usual, Madam Speaker, While they continue to suck their teeth when people speak, arrogance as usual, we will continue to say that we could have developed the airport using the methodology that the IFC recommended. But no, they choose to go the other way. You are the government. You know better than everybody else. But we are going to come to that, Madam Speaker. Section 12, Madam Speaker, relates to the authority ensuring that funds are sufficient to service the debts. So, la section bila ki ka di ki, authority a ki yo kay set up, Madam Speaker, ni pou fè bagay pou asiwe ki, ni pou fè bagay pou asiwe ki, la kay ni ase l'argent pou paye dette la. The questions are, it looks like everything is within your control, Madam Speaker. It looks like arrivals, tourism arrivals. It looks like, you know, external factors, external shocks in international markets. All of those things are within your control, it looks like. And is there a mechanism, Madam Speaker, to generate revenue for debt payments if we have a major problem? I don't know where the government will address this. Where? Isn't there a contingent liability on the state? So when I speak about 400 million in debt, and they suck their teeth and they shake their head, isn't this a contingent liability on the state, Madam Speaker? Isn't it? I know I don't understand anything about finance. You know a lot about finance. You should. I thank you for that. I don't understand anything about finance. All I know is how to be honest. That's what I know. I don't understand finance. Thank you for that. You understand finance. I'm happy you said that today. Money, you understand money. Isn't there a contingent liability on the state, Madam Speaker? Si se moun pas a paye dette la, est pays a pa kay ni pou paye. Ek mwen sa vi di ma kon tell about finance. Man l'argent, mwen pauvre, mwen whatever. Ma kon tell about finance. Mwen kontent ma kon tell about finance. Mwen honnête moun sort view Fort North. Ti moto ka mwen ti bay, ma kon tell about finance. But I'm in the parliament here to represent the people of View Fort North, and I will not stop talking about finance because you think I don't understand anything about finance. You hardy. Madam Speaker, the question in all of this is why? And you can smell the arrogance, you know, Madam Speaker. Who am I, this little boy from View Fort North, to know anything about finance? Yes. You are a guru on finance. Just like you want to make us cry. Madam Speaker, the question in all of this is, why does this government, with the member for Castries Southeast and the Prime Minister who were ministers, who were close to the developments in the Hiwanora redevelopment project between 2008 and 2011, why would they go back that route? Why? Why? And I heard earlier, Madam Speaker, pour qui ça, yo même qui te involvé, yo même qui te là, pour qui ça, yo vié en bagay ça là. By qui laisse, avec pour qui laisse, and why? And earlier today, Madam Speaker, I heard a member, the member for Castries North, said, we can do it ourselves. And they all clapped. Oh, we can do it ourselves. I guess he was missing the other part. We can do it ourselves for ourselves. We can do it ourselves. It looks like it's the $300 and $400 million projects. We can do it by ourselves, so we're keeping it. Let me give you some small examples of projects that we could do by ourselves, and we're running away from it. They're not even $500,000. The Foasson Center. Big guru minister for agriculture. Huh? I scared of him? Ask him to speak before me in the parliament. That has never happened. He'll never do that. That's the challenge. Madam Speaker, it is the big projects, the $300 million projects that we can do by ourselves. What about the Fondation Center working with the Rural Women's Network? Huh? It's not making profit. So dump that. We can't do that by ourselves. What about marketing board? We can't do that by ourselves. It doesn't have $300 million. What about the fisheries thing? There are problems there, yes. But no, we cannot do that by ourselves. Radio Saint Lucia, problems. Dump it. Nous pas ça fait ça par nous. Mais c'est gros l'argent. $300 million. Nous ça fait, oh, ça nous ça fait par nous. Madam Speaker, I'm just explaining the inconsistencies because they know about finance. And they can do it by themselves, the $300 and $400 million ones. The $300 and $400 million ones. They can do it by themselves. All doors can be open. There's nothing that I say that I don't have all documents. Trust me. Every single one of it. Madam Speaker, having had all the experiences of the Hiwanora Airport project and the Council of Slasper, why would the government place a debt of $400 billion on the people of St. Lucia? Why? Why abort a process and pay a fine? Pukisa. Why? I say to you, Madam Speaker, that the very countries members of this government go to in the Caribbean to get advice and to see what they do, those countries use these same methods by the IFC. Why is it that this government is not adopting this one? Why? Why? And those questions come against the backdrop and the background of all of the hidden agreements, the DSH, that nobody can know if this one is authentic or this one is not authentic. The demolition or not demolition of hospital. All kinds of things hidden. Whether they are going to repurpose or not repurpose. So they also demolish plans for PPP for Hiwanora. They demolished Beaufort Administrative Center, demolished plans for Suffrage Square, demolished St. Jude they want to demolish. Now they say it's not demolished. But they ain't demolishing the Dia Mall at all. They're not demolishing this one. They ain't looking for a PPP for the Dia Mall at all. $30-something million. Madam Speaker. And what are the compelling reasons for stopping the process? The employment would have been created. The airport would have been built. And again, Madam Speaker, our debate with the government is on the methodology. We both agree that the airport must be built. I have said so before, my colleagues have said so. But there would have been international advice and oversight. Now that's the difference. There would have been international advice and international financial oversight. We would be following international trends and regional trends. But this one, we can do by ourselves. Of course we can do it by ourselves. I put it to you, Madam Speaker, that there can be no extraordinary reason for the government to have changed the process. They should tell us. They should tell us why. If they speak of employment, well, I heard the member for ancillary canneries talking about employment. That employment has been reduced to 16.4%. He forgot to say that they continue to use the STEP program to employ people. They forgot about the STEP program. But you should also say that. You should say that. You should say that. Where are the toilets for the ladies in the STEP program? Cause a toilet, la, say, Madam. He spoke about employment. The member for ancillary canneries spoke about employment. And stimulus and all that. They spoke so glowingly about STEP is a waste of time, and ladies are bending by the road and all kinds of things. There are no toilets. But you cannot find answers for the employment in this country. You go to STEP. And we are not decrying STEP, Madam Speaker. We use STEP. And you now realize that what you said about STEP was not true at all. So, Madam Speaker, we continue to ask the questions to the government. Why the change? Why? Do we do things simply because we can do it? Is it simply because we can do it? We choose to do it ourselves? Because we know we can do it, Madam Speaker? Do we do the things knowing well that the same process was followed with some of the same actors, and we received advice as a government, and there are lots of pending things in documents that nobody wants us to talk about, and we have the same actors shouting in the parliament the same things to go back and do the same things that we were advised not to do. And we're doing it because we can. Well, Madam Speaker, in the Prime Minister's statement when he addressed the House during the budget, he said that the Iwanora International Airport will be within the general development of Beaufort Town, which he called in his speech a ghost town. Always insulting us. He called in his speech a ghost town. How does that relate to the town of Beaufort, as he said before? So they try to break you down, they call you a ghost town, and then he goes back to say we are a ghetto. How does this airport development, how does it relate to the town of Beaufort in relation to what is in the bill? And Madam Speaker, I really want the government to answer this question. Are we developing airports, or are we developing the Iwanora International Airport? Are we developing airports, or are we developing the Iwanora International Airport? The bill speaks to airports. You're building another one? We just want to know. We just want to know. So, Madam Speaker, we know also that there are obvious criticisms, especially by Bretton Woods and others. There are criticisms of the IFC. There are criticisms of the IFC. But what we want the government to do, we want the government to explain to the people of St. Lucia why the process was changed. Why was the process changed? And we are not confident, Madam Speaker, with the same players that so many international people and agencies are asking questions about. We are not confident that these same players will give us a different result. I am very, very confident now, having heard the statement that this one we can do by ourselves, and seeing what they have done with the marketing board, Radio St. Lucia, and all these agencies, that they could have done something about. I am not confident, Madam Speaker, that this project is being done simply because we can do it ourselves. I am not confident of that. I believe, Madam Speaker, that there are other reasons, and as a parliament, we have a responsibility to the people of St. Lucia, just as the Prime Minister keeps asking for answers, for the government to provide the answers. And as I take my seat, Madam Speaker, I wish to say that none of those things faze me. None of them. The troops, The thinking, if it's now I understand finance, opening of doors, none of them faze me. We are here to do the people's work, and we are going to ask the questions on behalf of the people. They are hiding things. DSH, the arrogant, want to make us cry. Dolphin Park. There are so many examples. Victimizing the National Trust and so many others in this country. And they want to come here and talk about, if you know anything about finance and CHUPS and so on. That is all they can do to respond, Madam Speaker. They cannot respond to the facts and the questions that we are asking them. So they'll go all around, open door, and talk about this and that and all kinds of things. But I say to you, Madam Speaker, we'll continue to ask the questions and we'll continue to press in all quarters, every single quarter, for them to provide those answers. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.